Well, you guessed it. We've got more work to do. It's time to do an oil change on my BMW. Cabin air filter. Regular air filter, the K&N seems to be working okay, so we're not going to do that because I just cleaned it and reinstalled it. And then we've got our 8 quarts of oil. I don't need all 8, but I will be using a pretty fair amount of them. This is the BMW Long Life 0W30. Where's our filter? We're also going to change out our drain plug from the original style to this magnetic, very strong magnetic style. This is the part number here, 131273093 MTC. And for just about $10 more, we can keep everything streamlined underneath the engine with the brand new oil drain cover from FCP. This is embarrassing, but I'm going to show you because it's just part of the job. You see that? There's a train of oil that made its way down the driveway because the wind blew it. So as the pan was positioned here to my left, the drain plug, which you can see right here, was going out that way. So I didn't want it to spill out the left side of the pan, which is why I moved the pan over to the left. And then as it started emptying and emptying and emptying, it ended up hitting this corner right here, and then the wind was taking it that way constantly. So we spilled a lot of oil. Oops. Gonna have to do a good cleanup with the kitty litter, but there's no leak, so we'll put on this cap here, we'll start the car, and then I need to clean up my driveway, but now you know. Oil changes on this car are just so easy. I mean, you do what you always do. You just unplug the plug and then drain the oil. So there's a couple of little O-rings attached to the filter housing. Unfortunately, they didn't come with the filter, as I'm about to find out here. STP. Quality stuff in here. Well, this did not come with the right O-rings. However, I think the cover ring might be the same. We just don't have those little plastic ones for the inside. My filter of choice is the Mal or Mala. I don't know how to pronounce it. It comes with a copper crush washer, which is probably for other models of BMW. Not mine, and no little rubber O-rings. Well, there is going to be good news, however. I did get an STP filter with the car. So, let me go in the trunk and I will use the O-rings. Thankfully, I don't have to use the paper element. And there are no O-rings in this either. I guess we have to reuse those O-rings. This is frustrating. Either you don't change these at every oil change, or the filter interchange number is not very accurate when it comes to citing which vehicles it's supposed to fit. Option 3, however, and it makes the most sense, is that it is better for them to just serve a broader variety of BMW models by having no small O-rings and selling those separately, even though they're like, less than $1 for the generic brand and something like less than $3 for BMW brand. When you're putting on the filter housing, 36mm socket on the top, and the rubber O-ring, you're going to want to lube it up a little bit with some new fresh oil, and that will make a lot of noise as it gets tightened down. But fear not, just be diligent and sometimes back it up if you need to so you're not running it dry. It will get a little tough. Don't over tighten it. Not terribly tight now, don't break anything. BMW recommends Castrol. If you're gonna recommend Castrol, don't make your own brand. 6.5 liters of oil. This is our 6th one right now. Then I'm gonna pull it, check with the dipstick, make sure our level's okay. Do keep in mind, the oil filter is not full of oil for that extra half liter, and the car is up on jack stands, which is gonna slope the pan and the sump, and it's gonna make our reading look a little bit higher. So what we'll do, make sure that our oil level's okay there. We're at 6 liters. I'll start it, run it for about 30 seconds, let the oil circulate throughout the system, stop it, and then in about 30 more seconds, I'll check the level. Top it off as needed. It's always better to add more than it is to overfill and have to subtract. That's a real pain in the rear. Yeah, she's showing above full right now. The reset procedure on these is a lot simpler than it is on the earlier models where you need to get a jumper cable over to the diagnostics box. The key is out of the ignition. Press and hold the set reset button on the left. That will turn on the odometer. Turn the key to position 1. I accidentally turned it to position 2, which is where the climate control kicks in. That's fine. It doesn't really seem to matter, but the doors are closed, the windows are up. And then the service corner will illuminate. Then press the button again to have it start flashing. As it flashes, press it a third time, just quickly, and then it will erase everything. So it's like bringing up reset procedure, and then the second one is, do you want to reset? And then you click it again to say yes, and it will go all the way up to 15,550. Now let's get off these stinking jack stands, clean up my driveway, and take a look at how much more oil we need to add to this car. Last thing before my road trip, I gotta put in the cabin air filter. I like that the instructions from this box actually come in with pictures of the actual car. It's not just a generic, remove the glove box and good luck. So it's right underneath the glove box. There's those two screws where the computer's attached to, a couple of clips. Whole thing should come out, and this is Cortico CP1094. Let's see what we got. First thing, I need some torque screwdrivers. So the screws are one here, one over there. This panel comes down. There's the, I think it's the SMC. I forget the name of the computer specifically. But that controls like your power windows and things like that. Cruise control probably. I flipped the light upside down so you could peek down in here and you see the bottom of the filter there. I removed the base, real simple base here. This is it. It's got 4 clips on the bottom and then this guy up top here. I think that's where you're supposed to pull it, but I just sort of yanked on the whole thing and it came out. There's a foam strip around for protection. Make sure it insulates pretty well, and some leaves will fall out because it's been a long time since this has been changed. No doubt. Let's get that vacuum cleaner ready. We're about to go to town. Oh boy. Oh, she's filthy. All right, just get her over with. Gross. My hands feel dirty too. Okay, I'll get that vacuum cleaner out in a second. I think what I'll do now is just run the climate system so that I can get all the leaves out of there. On this fancy guy here, airflow is listed as there, which means this is the side towards the firewall with the little strip on it, because that's the side where all the leaves were on our old filter. So this is gonna go in like a det. It bends, thankfully, because we need to make a curve to get it to fit in place. Look at all that. Lots of sand, lots of leaves coming out from this guy. And underneath, all those leaves came out of my cabin filter. All right, while you're reinstalling, I mean, I'm sorry I don't have 4 hands to show you, but if I did, then I would wish I had 6 hands. The plastic clip here that you see perforated with the foam there, it is kind of loose while it fits in place, so it was a little concerning. But this little clip up here is sort of what keeps everything together. So that pushes the entire assembly to the left, which then kind of forces it into place and keeps it there with the weight and pressure. So it's ready. It's all good to go. And if you're doing any aftermarket wiring while you're down here and you want to do like a subwoofer, no wait, the battery is in the trunk, so you don't need to worry about this, but essentially that's where you get firewall access to a lot of extra cables. Now, look, speaking of firewall, right there, that slit in the carpet is gonna be this guy's entry point. So we will make sure to get that in there. And while we are here, let's put the light back in, shake out all the leaves onto my fancy rubber mat, and then we'll vacuum everything up once it's screwed back into place. Now let me say before I throw this filter away, oops. Let me just say before I toss this Bosch filter away, it's really good quality here. C3856WS. That's the filter to get, unless the part number is actually F04619J1. This is the filter to get. It's so much beefier, and it just seems to be a lot better at catching things. The other one just feels like a crispy dryer sheet, the Cortico. This feels more like a cotton towel. All right, job's finished. I know we were supposed to have Adventurous LA Adventure, but still have a few more working videos to put out, so bear with me as we get through. There's a little bit of welding to do on the strut tower next video, and then replacing the struts, but we will be in San Diego, and then we'll enjoy a nice drive and some of the shots that I got for the couple weeks I spent out there. Thanks so much for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.